Today's problem is going to be on comparing rates. So the first thing we're going to do is review what rate means. So a rate is a ratio that compares two measurements or amounts, but they have to have different units. So that's the important part to look at. So some common examples of rates are wages. So your wage is, let's just say you earn $10 per hour. So that is considered a rate. Also, speed is considered a rate. So you are traveling 80 kilometers per hour. Likewise, cost per unit is considered a rate. So let's just say a box of Kraft Dinner costs $1.25 per box. So these are all examples of rates. So let's look at our problem. So our problem here states that you rake leaves for your parents, and they pay you $15 for 3 hours of work. You also rake leaves for your neighbor, and they pay you $12 for 2 hours of work. Which customer pays you better? So let's start by writing out our steps. So our first step is to write down the rates. So I'm going to write parents here and neighbors here. So we need to record our rates. So this is basically, this here is wage. That's what we're looking at, your wage. So we know that your parents pay you $15 per 3 hours of work, whereas your neighbors pay you $12 per 2 hours of work. So we have our rates. We have dollars per hour, and they both have different units. So we have dollars an hour. So that's our first requirement. So our second step is to find the unit rate. Over here is my definition for the unit rate. So the unit rate is still a rate in that it compares two quantities, but the second quantity must be equal to 1. So that means that the denominator must be 1. So like we saw in our examples over here, it was $10 per 1 hour, 80 kilometers per 1 hour, $1.25 per 1 box. So 1 was the denominator in each case. So that's what we need to find out. So we're going to do that by dividing. So this symbol you see here, it means per, but it also means divide. So that's what we're going to do to solve for step 2. So we're going to take $15 and we're going to divide that by 3 hours. And that means we're going to be left with $5 per 1 hour. And we're going to do the same procedure for our neighbors. So we're going to take that $12 and divide that by 2 hours because we want 1 on the bottom. So that's going to give us, and you can use your calculator for this or do long division, whichever you prefer. So that is going to give us $6 per 1 hour. So we have just found our unit rates in both cases. So now what's left to do is to compare our values. So step 3, compare the unit rates. So we're going to step back and we're going to look. So your parents paid you $5 per 1 hour and your neighbors pay you $6 per 1 hour. So I think it's pretty clear that your neighbors pay you more per hour. So now all that's left to do is for us to write our therefore statements. Therefore, by comparing your rate of pay, your rates of pay from your parents and neighbor it is clear your neighbors pay better. And there you go, you're done. You just compared two rates and found out which gave the better rate of pay. Thanks for listening.